Life Stories with Kevin Fernihough.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. I was born in 1976.
People living in Cumbria talking about their life.
Artistically, you were gifted.
I went to art college at Carlisle. I didn't really enjoy it.
The highs and the lows.
I'd finished the job centre and I'd worked at Halfords for a short time, and that's actually where I met my long-term partner.
From birth to present.
My mum was diagnosed with breast cancer, and obviously that was a huge shock.
The loss of your mum.
It was almost kind of like a nightmare.
Life Stories on BBC Radio Cumbria.
This is my story.
Life Stories here on BBC Radio Cumbria. My storyteller this week, a lass from out west of the county, Vanessa Cowan. I know this is going to be a difficult question for you to answer. Is there anything you can look back and look upon as a positive? I know that's a crazy thing for me to suggest, having come through 4 years of sheer purgatory. Is there anything that you can take from that and you move forward with it?
I think very much so, and definitely with... Last year I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called alopecia universalis, and I just went through the most awful time, a very low time, and the only thing that really got through it was thinking of Mum and thinking of how she battled and how she never gave up, and how the zest for life was still shining through her right up until the last days. And at that point I thought, right, pull yourself together. You're here, you're relatively well, live your life, basically.
Let's look into this condition that you've just highlighted here, alopecia. For those not familiar, just the ins and outs.
Yeah, I mean, alopecia is a Latin term for hair loss, basically. There's several different types of alopecia. The alopecia that I started with, which is the most common, is called areata, which just means patchy hair loss, which can be one patch or several patches, usually about a 10-pence piece size. The chances of your hair growing back if you have one or two patches are good. Mine, unfortunately, progressed because it was diffuse and it was all over the scalp. So I lost my hair very, very quickly within 3 months. I lost all my hair, eyelashes, eyebrows and body hair, which is caused by an inflammation of the blood. So basically your autoimmune system inflames your blood, which kills off or stops the hair follicle from working, and it goes into an anagen phase.
Was there any medical accountability for this?
I mean, there's not a lot of research gone into alopecia because it is known by the medical professions as basically a cosmetic illness. But actually it's not. It goes much deeper than that. Psychologically, it's got a huge impact, particularly on women and children. It doesn't get publicised, but suicide rates or attempts are very high with people that have alopecia, especially the female
I was
side.
about to say, as a woman, the loss of your hair, the loss of eyebrows...
Yeah.
It's your femininity, isn't it?
It's your identity, yeah, it's your femininity. I mean, throughout the ages, if you look at religion, hair is a sacred thing on a woman, throughout many religions. The term crowning glory, that's what I had. And that's gone now, unfortunately, and the chances of it returning are very, very slim once it gets to the stage where I am now. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's help out there. There's so many different types of fabulous wigs, hair pieces, makeup now that's available is the best it's ever been. There's no need now to worry about hair loss because there's so much you can do about it, and nobody would know that you've got a hair problem.
Well, this is an interesting point that you bring me to now, because this is a great deal about Mum's attitude, she fighting cancer for 4 years, suddenly yourself struck by alopecia, the loss of your hair. You talk about suicide because of that loss of that femininity.
Yeah.
Guys... It's just part and parcel, I'm afraid to say, of the gene that we carry. We go thin and nothing's said or thought about that. But here you are, you turn a negative into a positive.
Yes, and it was really very much a case of I either do that and beat it or it beats me. So yeah, I took that. It was as if a light switched on, I suppose, one day, and I was right. I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to get myself a really good wig. I'm going to research it so I get the right wig. I was already very good at putting makeup on and wearing makeup, so I learnt to adjust, to sort of, well, they call it camouflage makeup. But to me, it was just putting a bit more makeup on than I normally wore. Really, I mean, I am quite a positive person, but this did beat me when this happened to me.
When you say this beats you,
yeah,
you've already spoken about, for some people, certainly those of the fairer sex, thoughts of suicide. Did you go down that line?
Yeah.
Did you have those dark moments?
Yeah, I did get to that stage. Yeah, and not that I would have acted upon that, but I got to a stage where I've never been that low in my life.
But hang on, you got a wonderful fella by the name of Steve alongside you. You two are such a great team. I mean, you can always lean on him. You could always speak to him.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of felt helpless for Stephen because he's seen me one way for 17 years and then in a blink of an eye looking totally different. And I think kind of the straw that broke the camel's back was when the final hair on my head came out. I got something called atopic eczema, and the whole of my body was covered in what can only be described as sort of fiery blisters. And poor Stephen used to have to put emollient cream on 4 times a day all over. I couldn't go out for 3 months. I couldn't wear proper clothes. I couldn't do a lot of things. And that was at the point where I was at my lowest. I kind of thought, is there anything else going to happen? And then thoughts would go back to Mum, and at that point, that light did switch on, and that's when I realised I needed to do something about it.
We'll talk more about Glamorous Butterfly Wig Specialist, the company that you launched, in a moment or two. Firstly, and without wishing to offend here, you can argue, typical bloke. I'm here with you in a studio. I'm looking across at the most glamorous, gorgeous woman. I'm looking at eyebrows. I'm looking at hair. So that's a wig you're wearing?
Yes, it is.
I would have had absolutely no idea.
No, and you won't if you get the right...
So that's not me being blokish then?
No, it's not at all. I mean, I knew nothing about wigs, nothing at all, until I had to wear them. And the technology now is just absolutely amazing, and the wigs that you can get, nobody will ever know that it's a wig unless you tell them. So yeah, I mean, if you want to wear a wig and you don't want anybody to know, you can do that for the rest of your life and nobody will know.